Hey folks, Iolair here. Today is Tuesday, October 27th. Wargaming has posted the final and official word on update 0910 to the World of Warships website. The update drops tomorrow for most of the servers around the world. Everything except Europe picks up these changes tomorrow, October 28th. The European servers will pick up these changes on Thursday. I'll go over two articles. This first one covers the main topics around 0910, and then the second article goes into more details about key battles, which is a major part of the update. So, like I said, the updates go out tomorrow for most of the world on Wednesday. The update size is 4.7 gigabytes. That's for the client specifically. So keep that in mind again if you did not start an early download or if you have a relatively slow internet connection. We have a link to the video that features Dasha, and then we get to the second part of the American Battleship event. Most of this will center around the Always Courageous collection. There are a series of combat missions, daily shipments, and as I mentioned, a new collection dedicated to the U.S. Navy called the Always Courageous collection. There's also a mention here that the American tokens that we earned in Update 099, we can continue to exchange for rewards in the Armory through this update. At the end of the update, the tokens will be exchanged for credits at a rate of 1 token for 1,000 credits. And the last date or time that we can use to spend any tokens that we have left over is Wednesday, December 2nd, ending at 3 a.m. Pacific time. That's for me here on the west coast of North America. So check your local time zone for what that means for you. The combat mission groups, which we will use to earn or collect the containers that allow us to complete the Always Courageous collection. Those missions will start tomorrow with the update once it comes out on the 28th. Last missions must be completed by November 30th. The rewards will include signals, camouflages, coal, free XP, elite commander XP, and as I mentioned, items for the Always Courageous containers, which give us the collection items. On that note, there are a variety of ways to collect the containers. We can earn up to 27 containers by completing the combat missions. We can complete or collect, up to 4 containers through daily shipments, and then we can collect up to 10 containers by completing special combat missions that are issued during the World of Warships streams. Now, historically with the streams, you would have to redeem a code that was announced during the stream or redeem the code on the World of Warships website in order to activate the combat missions. However, with the Bismarck Gothic camo event, we didn't need to do that. All we had to do was watch the World of Warships stream from a Twitch account that was linked to our World of Warships account, and the combat mission was automatically assigned or given to our account. So there isn't any specificity here in this article whether a code will need to be redeemed explicitly or whether it is automatically assigned. Either way, you obviously want to watch the stream and get the mission so that you can collect more of these containers. So each container of the Always Courageous collection will include a collection item. They will include 1 special signal or 1 stars and stripe camouflage. They will also include one of the following, either 600 coal, 500 free XP, 1500 elite commander XP, 3 signals of the same type. These are all economic signals, or lastly could include 50,000 credits. We can also purchase Always Courageous premium containers in the premium shop or in the Armory. These will return obviously a higher level of rewards. They will still include an element of the Always Courageous collection, but they will include 15 special signals or 12 stars and stripes camouflages, and they can include up to 3,400 coal, 8,500 free XP, or 3 Type 59 camouflages. Now, as for the collection itself, there are a total of 16 items, four each in 4 sections. These are going to cover thematically main batteries of battleships, admirals, medals for service in both World Wars, as well as the main uniform types of enlisted men of the U.S. Navy during World War II. The rewards for completing each section will include, or one section includes 5 Stars and Stripes expendable camouflages, and the other 3 sections that we complete will include patches, one that's called Wings, Stars, and then Stars and Stripes. And then lastly, for completing the collection altogether, we earn the new premium Tier 5 U.S. Navy battleship, the USS Oklahoma. This is a picture of her in a special dedicated camouflage called Military. I did my review, or I released my review of the Oklahoma earlier today, and I'll leave a link to that review in the description below. So I won't go into too much detail on how she's described here. She's basically a standard battleship Tier 5 with 10 guns. All right, the exchange rate for duplicates of the collection is 4-to-1. So keep that in mind. Again, this is a key reason that you want to be on top of collecting. If you want to complete the collection, I should say, you should be on top of collecting as many containers as you can, so that while there are only 16 collection items, because the exchange rate for duplicates is 4-to-1, you want to try to maximize the number of containers that you're going to get. One other thing I should mention here, they say the starting in update 0.10.5, Wargaming will make the Always Courageous collection containers available in the Armory for coal, although they said later they'll state how much the cost will be. Thus, folks who are unable to complete the collection now in 0910 will be able to complete that collection later once the containers are again available in update 0.10.5. All right, daily shipments, there are going to be a total of 10. They include things like camouflage, credits, a few doubloons, some premium time, and then notably 4 containers. So make sure that you're logging in and getting your daily shipments so that you can pick up these containers. Last but not least, regarding the U.S. Navy event, just a reminder that in update 0911, the Kansas, Minnesota, and Vermont will leave early access and be available to all players to research. All right, now we get to the next section, which is key battles, which I'm going to cover in the next article. So I'm going to skip over this section because this just provides a very high summary, and I'll get to more detail on that when I get to the dedicated article. Next main item is clan missions. So Wargaming has added a series of clan missions that clans can complete to get more oil, and then that oil can be used to either further enhance their ports, or they can use them to exchange for rewards that they hand out through the treasury to their members. And so there's this is another way for clans to collect oil. And then there's a recommendation that you look for more details, go to the game client. So once the update comes out, clan leaders can take a look at the missions themselves and see what they're able to collect. All right, next is an update to aircraft carrier interface. So this is in addition to changes that were made in 099. I'm not going to use this this video to go over some of the challenges that have come with the previous set of carrier interface changes, many of which were not received very well, and in fact, there was also just a straight up bug with AA and the planes. And so again, I'm not going to go over that in this article. There's plenty of other articles that cover those topics in further detail. For 0910, however, we're going to have a new marker that points in the direction of where your carrier is, and it will also provide better information on the status of the ship, including risk of collision, ship detection by the enemy, approaching torpedoes, etc. The sound notifications have also been updated, and they've also mentioned that, quote, the least informative ones have been removed in order to make space for new notifications that relate to the aircraft carrier status. So Wargaming doesn't state specifically which status or notifications they're going to retire, and which ones, and what exactly the replacements are. But the bottom line is that Wargaming is intending to make the ship status indication or indicators clearer for players, so as they're flying their planes around, they have a better information about the state of their ship. Next is Wargaming has added the possibility to skip the animation, the attack animation, and proceed directly to operating a squadron. They note that the implication of doing this is that aircraft invulnerability period will be reduced by the duration of the skipped part of the animation. There's a visual here with a button to skip the animation if you want. So I think this is going to be something that carrier players are going to need to sort of play with and see how this exactly works, and see which animations they want to skip, and then which cases they don't want to skip, because in particular, again, that the aircraft invulnerability period is going to be affected by them skipping the animation. Next is some updates to the Armory. Reminder that we are going to get a new Samurai permanent camouflage for the Shikishima in exchange for 3 ranked tokens, and that's what this camouflage looks like right here. Next update on the Armory is that Wargaming is going to retire the option to exchange 12,500 research points for 250,000 free XP. They claim that this option was not very popular, so they're simply going to remove it. And the last opportunity to make this exchange, in case you do want to do it, is going to be Friday, November 13th. All right, now we get to the section on other changes. This is where Wargaming compiles often sort of a potpourri or just kind of a mixture of things that they've made changes in the game, including balance changes. I did go over this in an article a couple of weeks ago. I'm not going to repeat it here. I'll just leave a link to the article or to the video in the description below. But we've had a number of changes to the Hawkins, Implacable, Tallinn, Riga, and Petropavlovsk. Next is some content addition and changes. So Wargaming is making a number of ships that are currently in testing available, or they intend to make them available for testers, including many of the upcoming Italian battleships, as well as the special Tier 10 German aircraft carrier, the Werner Voss. And then they're also going to make hybrid ships available. So they'll have 3 variants of each for testers to test out different squadron types, whether that be torpedoes, bombers, or attack aircraft. Next is that they're adding the content for Black Friday. That's going to include the Bravo versions of the Cossack, the Jean Bart, the Kaga, and the Atlanta. And then next is they're going to release, or not release, but they're going to introduce content, at least for testing, I assume, for the next stage of cooperation with Arpeggio of Blue Steel. This includes the ARP Maya, the ARP Yamato, and a permanent camouflage for the Musashi, as well as 3 commanders that are going to be added to the game. There's no specifications in this section as far as exact availability of when this content will come out. It's reasonable to expect that the Black Friday content will come out when we have Black Friday, which is at the end of November. But the exact timing of the Arpeggio Blue Steel content is still unannounced, so expect a separate article on that. Next is, again, a reminder that we are going to have some content to honor the upcoming Brazilian Flag Day. This will include a new fictitious Pan-American, commander, Francisco Ferreira Filho, and a Brazilian naval flag, Brazilian expendable camouflage, and a new premium Tier 2 Pan-American cruiser, which is essentially a clone of the Albany. This is the Almirante Abreu, and she will have a unique horn sound and a dedicated camouflage. Lastly, a couple of new patches that have been added to the game, including Wild Blue Yonder Air Force patch, as well as a Remembrance Day patch and flag. And then again, of course, there are going to be details later on how to get all of these different items. Again, these ships that are coming into testing, well, there's not going to be an announcement as far as availability anytime soon because they've just entered testing. But the other content around Black Friday, the ARP stuff, the Pan American content, and the new patches. Again, there will be articles later to go over those changes. Last but not least is the other changes and improvements. These are mostly bug fixes and to specific ships. So I'm not going to go through these. I recommend you read through these. So if there's any ships that you're particularly interested in and understanding some tweaks or adjustments that they've made, this is going to be a good article or a good section to go through. All right, so that is going to wrap up this part of the article. Let me go, or this part of the video, let me go to the second article, which is some more details on the key battles, which is going to be sort of the unique or temporary battle type typically associated with the Halloween event. Again, there is a video here from Wargaming that goes through that. I suggest that you do watch that. The main aspects of these battles is that there will be 16 individual players. There's no teams predetermined that will be battling against each other and against AI-controlled monsters in a what they characterize as a gigantic polygon map, or at least the title is Polygon. You start out alone. You can division up with up to 3 other players, so a total of 4 players in a division. By destroying monsters and other players, you get a temporary resource called battle points. As you accumulate battle points, you can use those to improve the capabilities of your ship in the battle, so real time. And then those collected battle points can then be used to get rewards from the armory after the battles. As you get closer to the center of the map, the monsters will become more powerful, but you will also see monsters that will drop a key, and upon getting a key, you will exit via the portal, and this is the main objective of trying to win the game. And then when all the keys have been used, or the portal is closed, the remaining players on the battlefield will go to a special area called the Octagon. The final battle takes place in this Octagon, which is a gradually shrinking combat zone, and the last surviving ship also leaves the polygon successfully. Again, leaving the polygon earns you battle points as well, and there will be 3 ships that we are going to be included in these battle types. Now, before I go too much further, I expect that some of my colleagues will put together some detailed videos on how to play these games and the strategy and approaches that you want to take, the different weapon types, etc. So unfortunately, my personal schedule didn't allow me to play a lot of these games on the test server at the time. But I know that some of my colleagues had more opportunity than I did, and they will be putting together videos, and I will recommend videos for you to go check out by posting a comment placing a post, I should say, on my YouTube channel for folks to go take a look at those other videos. So a few tips that they cover here. They recommend trying different combinations of modules and armaments to get a feel for how these ships can perform with their different armament types. Again, the first monsters to destroy are going to be relatively easy, but they will allow, if you destroy them early, it allows you to upgrade your ship as quickly as possible. They mention here it's not necessary to immediately attack other players. You may want to try to div up with them so that you can may potentially improve your chances in the battle overall. As you get closer to the center of the map, as I mentioned, the monsters become more dangerous, but you'll also receive more battle points for destroying them. If you are in a division and you don't have enough keys for the division, your division mate may start leaving your division and then suddenly becoming an enemy again as you guys are competing for these limited keys. Let's see, divisions are also active in the Octagon, but the bottom line is whichever ship is still afloat at the end is the winner. So that's the key thing to keep in mind. And again, since this is a shrinking combat zone, any ships outside the combat zone gradually lose their health. And so if you get into a situation where you have more than one ship remaining, they didn't just all destroy each other. Basically, the health reduction, basically whoever had the most health is going to be able to survive outside that combat zone the longest and potentially win the game. There's a series of rewards for collecting battle tokens, which is again this sort of this temporary currency that we get for playing the games and getting certain achievements during the games. You can use these battle tokens to get upgraded ships. In fact, there's three ship types. The first, and I'll cover those here in just a second. You can use them to get credits. There are three commanders, unique commanders that you can get, some premium time, and some camouflages for these battle tokens that you can get out of the armory. There's a reminder here that the commanders from previous Halloween events will be available in the armory in exchange for doubloons as well. And then finally, any battle points that we do not exchange before the end of the event will be converted for one battle point for 75 credits. Key battle rules. The battles will start when the update goes out tomorrow on Wednesday, on October 28th. The last battles must be completed by December 2nd. And then in order to access key battles, you have to have fought at least 21 battles in available battle types. Again, that's a very low bar to set, but basically they don't want just completely fresh green players, although somebody with only 21 battles in the game is still very green in my opinion. But in any case, there is a minimum requirement to get into these games. One thing that's very interesting about this map is that you get a circular mini map, or about this game mode, is you get a circular mini map with your ship in the center, and your ship stays fixed at the center of the minimap, and the minimap follows you around. So this gives you a very different perspective about how to play the game. So rather than having a minimap that gives you a picture of the entire map all at once, you only can see out to a certain range, and that range follows you around as you travel around the map. And this particular graphic that we're looking at right now is a place where you make a choice about how you might want to improve your ship as you sink targets and get battle points during a battle so that you can immediately upgrade your ship. And then there's a mention here, or a graphic here. Here is this symbol I've got my cursor over. For sinking or destroying this monster will give you a key, and that allows you to exit the game through the portal, which is this large contraption in the background. They mention after the last key has been used or the portal has been closed, everybody else goes to the octagon. I mentioned that already, so not too much need to repeat that. Players are not allowed to enter battles in divisions, but you can assemble into teams of up to 3 ships directly in a battle. I thought it was 4 when I played it, but maybe I misread that. I thought you could have up to 4 players, but it looks like it's only 3. And then if you want to invite somebody into your team, you select them and you press F, and that sends an invitation, and they can choose to either accept or decline that. There's an option here that you can press Tab so that you can view your ship's improvements as well as the improvements of your allies that are in the same team. There's a screenshot here of armaments so that you can upgrade your ship as you play more battles. There are a variety of different weapon types and other modules you can add to your ships. And then the first ship that we start with is the Valkyrie, which is roughly modeled on the Hindenburg. She is going to be the first one that everybody has to start with. Note that in these ships, there are no commander skills, camouflages, or signals. It's just basically the ship, and you're focused on improving the ship. There's some description here, which I'm not going to go into too much detail on, but the Valkyrie plays a little more like a traditional ship where she has artillery, but even her weapon systems can be upgraded. There's a description of the Gale, which is the next ship that we can earn. So you have to play a certain number of games in the Valkyrie, and then you can complete combat missions to pick up the Gale, which is modeled roughly on the Smolensk. The main armament of the Gale is actually her torpedoes. She does have a battery of, or a complement of secondary batteries as well, but it's really her torpedoes and her torpedo systems that are unique. And then after completing further combat missions, starting on November 12th, you can pick up the Heracles, which is modeled on the Republique, and she has sort of these wave style attacks to against opponents. So again, expect another video, or expect me to recommend another video from a colleague, from somebody in the community contributor program, to go over this in more detail, so that I don't do you a disservice and mischaracterize exactly how these get played. So that is the article on key battles. Again, I will leave links to both of these articles in the description below. Hopefully the information here was useful to you. If you have any questions or any thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And as always, we hope to see you out there in the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.